Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
So, Max, let's start by talking a little bit about this season so far. What's your state of mind going into Italy about your racing?
Very relaxed, to be honest. I mean, we've had, I think, pretty decent start. We've been, I think just constantly improving a bit from last year. But of course, also the competition, they have been also improving, and I think everyone is getting a bit closer here and there. But that's good. I mean, everyone is, of course, trying to push as hard as they can, and that's the same for us.
It's interesting to think about, moving to Italy and then on to Monaco. After Miami, we sort of see the fullness, and I'm speaking to you from Doha, the fullness of this global circuit. Do you think the mix is where it needs to be geographically, or do you think the calendar needs to be tweaked?
I think what we're doing in the US at the moment, I think is great. Having the 3 races there in different places, I think works really well. I think, from my side, the only thing I think what can improve a bit on the calendar is just the general traveling. We're still traveling a little bit too much left and right. I think it would make a bit more sense, to maybe start like we did in Asia, maybe have a few back-to-backs, and then do Europe, and from Europe you move on to the US or whatever, So there are still a few things that we can do better. Also, when you look from sustainability, but at the same time, of course, I understand that having 2-3 races in the same country or in the same continent maybe sells less tickets. But then at the end of the day, I mean, what are you trying to sell? Is it tickets or actually sell the sustainability story? That's what we have to look at.
Well, and obviously the global audience as well that's tuning in to watch from home or bars or wherever. So to that point, in terms of building the fan base, obviously the U.S., as you mentioned, is getting much more popular. Drive to Survive, we've heard that story a lot. What else does F1 need to do? What do individual teams need to do to ensure that the sport keeps growing globally?
Keeping it real. I think, I mean, it's a difficult one, because it depends how you want to attract fans. Like, you can attract it, of course, in very different ways, right? From the entertainment side or actually the performance side of things. And of course, the sport has been growing a lot lately, probably from, more the entertainment side. But, you also need to question, what you actually want, because I think it's also very important to keep the real die-hard fans really engaged. But these kind of things, at the end of the day, I'm the racing driver. I'm very focused on my performance, and that's already taking a lot of my time. Trying to just be on top of my game. Being in touch with my team, what we can try and improve. And to be honest, those kind of things are not really going through my mind a lot. How should I grow the sport? I mean, that's not up to me. I'm not, also the shareholder of the sport. I'm just here to try and win the races.
That's a fair point. And obviously the commercial success does, as you rightly point out, rely very much on success on the track. No one would question your success on the track. It's worth pointing out that obviously, there's going to be a big change with Adrian Newey leaving. What's your confidence level, I should say, about that side of the equation moving forward, ensuring that you can stay competitive on the track?
Yeah, I mean, it's of course, it's been quite a change, I guess, but also a shame that Adrian will be leaving, because I think it would be always nice for him to be part of what we are doing. I mean, he's been incredibly important for us, especially from the start of Red Bull Racing, I would say. And yeah, I mean, at one point, you have a lot of good people in the team, a really strong technical department that I trust in as well, for the future. So naturally, the confidence is very high. I'm very excited for the coming years as well. But yeah, would it have been nice for Adrian to be around as well and see that? For sure. But at the end of the day, when people want to maybe seek new challenges or whatever, you can't stop that.
And so when you think about, obviously you take care of business on the track, that's clear. How much do you think about your business, the business of Max, off the track? You have some key endorsements with EA, with Heineken. How do you choose those partners, and what is that process like?
Luckily, I have a really strong group of people, around me that I think know me pretty well. So I think at the end of the day, the sponsorships and endorsement deals, they need to fit me, and we need to be able to work very well together, which I think with the deals that we have in place at the moment, they work really well for me. And then also I'm probably a bit more natural in the way that I can express myself. So that definitely works very well. Because you also we do a lot of racing, we do a lot of simulator work back at the factory. We have a lot of marketing days, and then plus your private deals as well. There are a lot of days that are gone in a year, because it's also important, of course, to rest up and actually spend time with family and friends, because F1 of course is great, but that's not what I'm going to be doing the rest of my life. So it's important to find your free time as well, and enjoy life as well a little bit.
And so that begs the question a bit, as you think about, and I don't imagine it will be soon, but life after the sport. How do you build your business portfolio? How do you think about the business of Max moving forward? What do you see yourself doing down the line?
I probably myself, I will always race a bit, but a bit less than Formula One. It's very intense. I have a lot of plans. Outside of that, I do a lot of simulator stuff, like virtual racing. And I want to try and find a way of, drivers who don't have the money to start in go-karting or other kind of categories, to make it into real racing. I want to try and create an opportunity for them through the virtual world, the sim racing world, to also have a shot at it in real life. So this is something that I'm planning. I don't want to rush it. I want to do it well. But that's something that I definitely, I'm very interested at. And everything else outside of that, I think, it just depends a bit more, how much free time you have as well. Of course, there's plenty going on in the background, but a lot of people around me, people that I trust, they take care of that.
Well, speaking of plenty going on in the background, there obviously has been a lot of off-track noise, on the team, drivers moving around. How do you stay focused amid all that, and how does that affect your decision-making?
I think I'm quite a relaxed person, so when I go home, I honestly don't really think about Formula One too much. Other kind of things around, other teams or whatever, that doesn't interest me at all. What is happening there. I'm just very focused on what I have to do within the team. And outside of that, I really want to try and switch off as much as I can. So I'm pretty relaxed. Of course, a lot of things, from the start of the season happen, but on the other hand, I'm just here for the results. I try to focus on the performance side of things, and just try to do the best I can.
It was interesting. I was in Miami and, witnessed that very, I dare say, sweet moment between you and Lando, when he won that race. What does that mean for the sport? Obviously, you've been dominating, and yet I would imagine you understand that, good competition is ultimately what is going to drive fans. So how do you square that in your mind? Well,
first of all, they beat us fair and square. So then, I'm good friends with Lando, so I was very happy for him, to win his first race. It's always, I think, a very special moment when you win your first race, just genuinely happy. Of course, the fans like to see it as well. From my side, of course, personally, I wasn't happy with how the weekend went, but we still came out of there with the most points of everyone, which even when the weekend didn't go your way, you can still, I guess, in a way, be satisfied with that. But as a team, we always try to do better. And that's why we're here in Italy now, to try and do better than what we did in Miami.
I wanted to go back very quickly before we wrap to something you said at the beginning about, the calendar and, some of the tweaks that maybe need to be made. Do you feel like, both your team and the other teams and Formula One, FIA, do you feel like they listen to you as the top driver and other drivers in terms of your wants and needs, in terms of really your part in growing the sport?
I think they are always very open to have a chat or listen, so that has never been a problem. Of course, they might sometimes think the same, but then sometimes it's just, it's not possible to change it on a short term because of, deals that have been made about certain dates as well in the calendar, but I think they're always very open for a chat. So for me, from that side, it's never been a problem. And, I'm also always very happy to talk about stuff that can be improved in a sport that I love, of course.